And most of you are not under the proper training, the proper authority, the proper knowledge base to be applying handcuffs in any situation while you're working in security. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about a very controversial topic. Should security guards or security officers be utilizing handcuffs or mechanical restraints? Very divisive. Let's get into my 5 reasons why security guards should avoid and not use handcuffs or mechanical restraints. Let's get right to it. Point number 1 is going to be legal liability. Guys, any misuse of handcuffs can lead to serious legal consequences. For security guards, understanding and adhering to relevant laws of your area, and also understand that the laws of your area, they might differ from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. One thing that security guards often overlook is the fact that when you work for a specific company, take for instance the company that I work for, we're in the Portland area. Any one of the, say, 16 to 20 locations that we service, they might be in 3 or 4 separate counties. In those 3 or 4 separate counties, 2 or 3 of those might fall within a completely different state. We border Washington. So as a security guard, you have to understand that your usage of mechanical restraints more than likely is going to fall within the policy of the police department or the sheriff's department of that area. There might be time restraints, there might be application restraints, and I say that no pun intended, with how long you can have those handcuffs applied, when you can apply them, when you can't apply them. All of those things are different based on the jurisdictions. And I think that most security guards often do not understand this. And this is an area where a lot of guys can get jammed up. Point number 2 is going to be safety concerns. I think that most security guards, they improperly understand that when you bring those handcuffs out, you are signaling to that person that they are about to be detained. Now, let's completely avoid the conversation on whether or not you're within your legal bounds at that moment to do so. Let's just say that you are. Once those handcuffs come out, the person that you're dealing with most likely is having this moment of understanding that their freedom is at risk. This is where you will see most people become their most combative, their most aggressive, their most resistant. And that is going to lead to a position where not only that individual subject, but your safety could be in peril as well. Putting yourself in a situation where now you're going hands-on to have to apply those handcuffs, you are introducing a completely different set of circumstances and nuances that can lead to either them or you being seriously injured or hurt. Number 3 would be de-escalation, or rather the fact that this takes de-escalation out of the situation. Sometimes security guards might think that by producing handcuffs and signaling to the subject that they might possibly be detained or that they're going to be detained, that this is the ultimate catch-all. Hey, look, the handcuffs are out. Now this person knows I mean business. In my opinion, you have now removed the opportunity to further de-escalate. I would much rather see security guards and security officers exhausting every opportunity to talk this person down, talk this person out of the area, out of the situation that is potentially leading them to need to be detained. Now, when we're having this conversation, we are avoiding the topic of a felonious assault or a felonious issue. There are many things that are at the misdemeanor level or a trespass level where someone could potentially or feasibly handcuff a subject. We're taking the issues where you absolutely unequivocally have to handcuff this person for your safety, their safety, or the safety of a third party. And we're talking about those situations that might be a little bit more on the fence, where you could handcuff this person. You have the authority to handcuff this person based on what they've done, what they've displayed. But the question is, should you handcuff this person? And I think in this situation, 9 times out of 10, by producing those handcuffs and signaling that you're willing to take this person and detain them, you have now completely taken all other options of de-escalation off the table. Number 4 is training, and I can't say this enough. For Oregon specifically, under DPSST, it speaks about the authority to use handcuffs and in which situations you can do that when you're effecting basically a citizen's arrest. but there's no training in terms of getting your certification, whether as an unarmed guard or an armed guard, where that's required. Oregon simply does not provide that training. So the individual security guard, security officer would have to get this training from their company. Now, the question comes, is that training being done by a certified trainer? Are the training records being kept? Are you doing training every year or every quarter? Are those records being kept? Once you introduce another form of item into the situation, whether that's OC spray, whether that's a baton, a firearm, or even handcuffs, you're now opening yourself up to the scrutiny of whether or not you are properly trained to be utilizing those restraints or that tool. There is a proper way to apply handcuffs. There's a proper way to apply handcuffs, a way to lock those handcuffs, a way to monitor those handcuffs. There are very strict protocols, specifically in areas where the police department is under more scrutiny, where you have to annotate the amount of time that a person is in the handcuffs. And if you have not received this training and you're applying those handcuffs, you could be opening yourself and your company up to a lot of legal liability. The fact that most people don't understand this aspect of utilizing handcuffs is very, very alarming. And if you find yourself in a situation where you've applied handcuffs and you don't have the proper documentation and something happens, it goes south, or this person gets injured, you are going to be in a world of trouble. Number 5, and most importantly, is the issue of civil rights. This is a very serious legal implication, and it emphasizes the needs for security guards to not only understand their legal limit, but also to ensure that their actions fall within the boundaries of the law. Listen, if you detain someone and you handcuff them and they are not in a situation, or you are not in a position to have legally have done so, and this can be very, very dicey based on your post orders, based on the circumstances of the contract that you're working, based on the jurisdiction of the area that you're in. If you stop someone, you impede their movement, and you detain them, and you do not have the legal authority to have done that, you have now placed this person under false arrest. Understanding that, if you then move them from one area to another area, you can find yourself with a charge of kidnapping. I know that seems really crazy, but you can find yourself being charged with kidnapping by having a false arrest, a false imprisonment, false detainment, and then moving that person from point A to point B. A lot of these things are legally twisting and entangling, and I am not an attorney. But when I tell you this, I understand enough to say this. I am not an attorney, and I understand the dangers of what we're talking about. Many people who are carrying handcuffs, potentially utilizing handcuffs, going hands-on in situations where they're threatening the use of handcuffs, they aren't even aware of the 5 things that I have laid out in this video. This is a very, very serious matter, a very, very, very serious subject, and most of you are not under the proper training, the proper authority, the proper knowledge base to be applying handcuffs in any situation while you're working in security. Now, again, I say all of this with the understanding that if you are working a post or you are working a location and a felonious issue happens directly in front of you that you have to get involved in, we're now talking about a completely different dynamic. But in most cases, in most situations, my advice and my stance is that security officers should not be utilizing mechanical restraints or handcuffs. That's my thought. I want to hear your thought. Please add your comments below and open up that dialogue for discussion. As always, watch your 6 and be great. All right, be great.